welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. I'm Shivani Gupta. You're watching Kings of Cricket. It's time for a blockbuster clash in the Men's ODI World Cup 2023. Facing off against each other are going to be India and South Africa. Two teams who've dominated this event so far. They are both secure for the semis but will fight for table-topping honours today in Kolkata. Now the World Cup is finally getting exciting. You've got four teams locked in a fight for the last two spaces in the semi-finals. Pakistan managed a daylight robbery yesterday, beating New Zealand on Duckworth-Lewis. Afghanistan is still very much in the mix and Australia aren't secure just yet. So it's all to play for as we get into the business end of the World Cup. India versus South Africa coming in just about an hour's time. Who will have the bragging rights? That match starts in just about 60 minutes from now. We've got special guests and special interviews lined up for you, so don't go anywhere. India versus South Africa, 2 p.m. at the Eden Gardens. Now remember, India is top with 7 wins in 7 matches. They are on 14 points. South Africa second with 6 wins out of their 7 matches, 12 points. Now these two teams are more or less secure. Of course, India is secure, even South Africa, unlikely that they can be overtaken. But look at this chunk from 10, which Australia are at, New Zealand, Pakistan, Afghanistan. These 3 teams, 4, 5, 6, tied at 8 points. Afghanistan has 2 more matches to go, but one of them is against these 2 teams. So it's going to be quite tricky to see exactly which of these 3 teams manages to get to, let's say, 10 points, or maybe Afghanistan, I don't know if they can manage to pull it off to 12 points. Australia is not fully secure in that situation if that happens, but otherwise it looks unlikely that they can be displaced from the top 4. But all of these 4 teams are still very much in contention for the last 2 spots in the semi-finals. Let's of course first focus on the big match that is coming up. We have a full panel and, as I said, some special conversations also lined up. With me in the studio is Murli Karthik, former India cricketer. We've also got Graham Swan, former English cricketer, Mohinder Amarnath, 1983 World Cup winner, and of course Venkatesh Prasad, former India cricketer, joining us. We'll also be joined with Ayaz Memon, noted Indian cricket journalist, who will be, of course, with us, has been with us throughout the tournament as well. Let me start with Karthik first up in the studio with me. Karthik, quite a mouth-watering clash today. This is exactly the kind of clash we've been waiting for. Not much has managed to ruffle India's feathers so far. Can South Africa do it?
Form teams.
Yeah.
Look, there are lots of heavyweights in the competition. England aren't bad. They might be languishing at the bottom, but they're still heavyweights. Australia heavyweights, and they're punching at the right time. But these two have been the form sides, barring that one glitch which South Africa had against Netherlands, and that must have stung them badly. Because losing to Netherlands, again, they have the same sort of a language, and I can understand the origin and everything. It must have stung them. But as you said, these two have had the bragging rights. So to say, they have soared high and handsome above all the other teams. They've like absolutely decimated, but very different in the sense that South Africa have not chased properly. India have done both. Once I remember sitting in the same studio, you said, when will India bat first? And organically they batted first and they won very comfortably. So India have done everything right in spite of being pushed to a corner, in spite of not having their starting 11 and losing Hardik Pandya, not having Shubman Gill, but they have had the strength to absolutely decimate anybody. But so today, can anybody pose a challenge to India? This is the team, because this is a very strong batting lineup. And for me, the 20 overs of spin are going to be key more than anything else, because all the South African batters bat beautifully against spin. So 20 overs of Kuldeep Yadav, so it is going to be challenging. Kuldeep Yadav and Ravindra Jadeja, I think is the key to this match, is what I feel. You know,
you look at the batting lineups of both of these teams, Graham, and there's not much to choose from. Yes, the Indians have done a little bit better in terms of their averages, but you look at the runs that have been scored by the likes of de Kock and others, they're actually table toppers as far as the World Cup is concerned. In between these two batting lineups, who do you think is stronger? Graham, could you hear me?
I don't think Graham is
Not
ready.
sure if Graham is getting my audio, but let me pose that question to Jimmy Paji. Jimmy Paji, between these two teams, table topper teams and their batting lineups have been quite sensational. All of these batters are actually vying for the top honours in the World Cup. Who do you think is stronger as it stands?
Over here, I think it all depends on the nature of the wicket. And so far, what we have seen, I think whenever other teams are playing, the wicket has been on a good side. And because if you see the Pakistan-New Zealand game, it was absolutely pleasant. And most of the wickets have good bounce, good pace. So I think the ball comes nicely onto the bat. So, but I think the South African are used to such wickets, and that's why they're playing some wonderful cricket here. And of course, they have done well against all the teams. But this is a very, very crucial game for both the teams. I think more for South African point of view. What I hear about the nature of the wicket for this game, I think it's going to be on a slower side, and it's not going to be a high-scoring game. This is what I've heard. And that means the wicket will not have double pace and things like that, but it will be on a slower side and lower bounce. And I think on those kind of wickets, if you're a stroke player, I think sometimes you struggle. So you need somebody to play and just play an anchor role and that till the end. So South African batting, I think they like the ball and they like to hit. They like to play and dominate the bowling. So this will be very interesting, as Karthik said. I think the two spinners are very, very crucial, I think, for this game. And they'll play a very, very important part in this particular game. But I think looking at this particular game, I would think Indian batting, from my point of view, is stronger compared to South Africa.
Yeah. Venki, you look at the scores that South Africa has managed to pose when batting first in this World Cup. I'm just reading them out. Against Sri Lanka, 428. Against Australia, 311. England, 399. Bangladesh, 382. New Zealand, 357. Now, this is going to be the challenge for the Indian bowling lineup today. If at all South Africa was to be batting first, to restrict them to a total that doesn't, bat India out of the contest.
Absolutely. I think it is very, very difficult to pick which side has got a better batting lineup because on both the sides, I think it's batting heavy, and all of them are literally scoring runs. I mean, if you look at South African squad, I mean, Quinton de Kock or Van der Dussen, Markram, Klaassen, everybody. In fact, even Janssen also is batting well. He is contributing those 30s, 40s. So both of them have got terrific batting depth. Having said that, I think the difference between these two sides is the bowling, and our Indian attack is outstanding, just impeccable in terms of their lines and lengths. And you did mention a few scores, batting first for South Africa. So they would be looking to bat first as well here if they win the toss. But the question is, what would Rohit Sharma like to do if he wins the toss? Would he go back to chasing, or would he go back or rather field first? Looking at South Africa's record in terms of batting first, would he like to do that? Would he like to bat first, or would he like to go back being kings of chases? So I would still feel that if Rohit Sharma wins the toss, they would probably field first for the simple reason that 10 overs there will be some bit of moisture because it's hot and humid, I suppose, in Kolkata, and the ground staff would have watered the pitch, and there would be quite a bit of moisture for this definitely for the first 5 to 8 overs. I think this is where the Indian bowlers need to make those early inroads if they win the toss and if they choose to field first. I think this is what that's what I feel Rohit Sharma would do.
I asked your thoughts. You've got the likes of Markram, Klaassen, even Janssen. You've got David Miller. Everybody, just really working for South Africa right now. The biggest threat right now in terms of batting, or just the explosiveness that we've been talking about throughout the World Cup, has really been shown by South Africa. What do you make of the contest today, Ayaz?
Look, I think it's a high-octane contest. I mean, neither team is not it's not a very crucial match in the sense of getting into the knockout stage. Yes. Both of them are there. So that apart, but I think it's not just brownie points. It's also about how you assess the opponents. You might face them, unlikely in the semi-finals right now, it seems, but you never know. But if it means playing against South Africa in the final, then you have to be a little better prepared. Now, I'll go by what Jimmy Paji said, about the pitch. I think look, South Africa explosive at the top with Quinton de Kock in outstanding form, and they are fantastic at the finish with Henrik Klaassen. I think somewhere India is not as strong at the finish, or we haven't seen it as yet because there's not been that need so far. We've got an explosive top, we've got a very solid middle order or Kohli downwards. We haven't had the need to get 150 runs in 10 overs, or 12 overs at the finish. So that could be under test. But if you ask me, it's 19-20 situation between the stronger team. I think both are very strong, and this will be something really enjoyable to watch today, how this match unfolds.
Yeah, we've got a situation, Karthik, where Hardik Pandya has been ruled out for the rest of the World Cup. How do you look at that situation? Because he was being considered almost as an indispensable, with the bowling all-rounder, with his batting prowess. And now we've had a situation where he's not going to be playing the rest of the World Cup. But India hasn't missed him that much.
Nobody is indispensable in this game. We've had Sachin Tendulkar, who was called the greatest. Now we're talking about Virat Kohli. Now suddenly people have already started talking about Shubman Gill. So nobody's indispensable in the game. The game is always going to go on. But one thing is that, yes, it's not a body blow, but it's a big blow. It's a big hole because we're talking about the balance of the side. The balance where Hardik Pandya, it wasn't as if Hardik Pandya was bowling 10 overs every game.
Yes.
But what Hardik Pandya has done in the last few years, Shivani, is that he was only seen as a one-dimensional batter. That if you had a launch pad, he had that X factor to go and propel you to a bigger score. But what we have seen in the last 2 or 3 years with him is that you can put him in any situation. He's got different gears to his batting. He has all the shots which you want at times. So he's matured into a cricketer. That's one of the reasons why he's also the vice captain of the side. And he provides you with very crucial overs if the need be. But what we have also got are quality players. You look at what Shami has done after coming back. Shami replaced, in a way, Shami replaced Hardik Pandya. Surya Kumar Yadav has replaced Hardik Pandya, and both of them have done really well for India. So from that sense, India haven't missed him. And it was not as if he was playing every game in the lead up to the World Cup as well. So yes, it's a blow, but India have
that
other
just also
options.
Goes on to show the India's bench strength. That
100%.
even the first playing 11 that they were picking was leaving out players who deserved to be in the playing 11, and now that they've got their chance, they've certainly made it count. And speaking of making their chances count, who better to talk about than Mohammad Shami? Now, Mohammad Shami has become the highest wicket taker for India in World Cups. Let's put on that chart. Of course, we've got legends of the game who he has surpassed now. But interestingly, Venki, the most important thing to watch out for in that table is the number of matches in which Mohammad Shami has done it. It's actually almost less than half of Zahir Khan, who he has displaced from the top spot.
Absolutely. I think that shows his quality, that shows his caliber, and we were all questioning his omission in the first 11, isn't it? In the first few games. I mean, he should have been there from the beginning, and that would have definitely hurt any bowler for that matter. I'm sure we are all been in those positions, so we know how it feels. And he has come back. He has come back all guns blazing. And it just, great to see him run and bowl. And I mean, it's years and years of bowling that he has done, and the years and the number of overs that he has done. He's bowled over the years has helped him to be that consistent. I mean, if you look at his bowling, he just keeps it so simple. But he just uses those angles, those and those outswinger for a left-hand batter or in-swinger for the right-hand batter. I mean, that he has developed off late because his stock delivery is outswing for the right-hand batters, and for the left-hand batters, obviously it comes back in. And he doesn't swing the ball that much. In a swing, obviously we all know that it's in the air, and seam is off the pitch. And when Shami bowls, there's not much of swing. So it makes it that much more difficult for the batter to pick whether the ball is going to leave the batter or come back in or jab back in. I think that's his greatest strength, I would say. And he pitches the ball in those areas which makes it extremely difficult for the batters to score off him. I think that's the beauty, that's the strength of his. And what character he has shown after being dropped for the first few matches, the way he has come back and being the highest wicket taker in the World Cups for India, overtaking Zahir Khan and Javagal Srinath. I think hats off to him. That's the quality of Mohammad Shami.
Absolutely.
It's also amazing how we talk about the wobble seam and everything. He never uses the wobble seam. He just keeps it so simple. As Venki said, he just comes. That seam presentation is to die for. I think any seam bowler would be hoping we get at least half of that. And
There's been a lot of
big...
discussion about the balls he's been using as well.
Let's not go there.
No, Jimmy Paji, as a batsman, how do you play Mohammad Shami? Any tips for anybody? Not that we want South Africa to be learning anything from you, but still.
No, they know what they're supposed to do. But I think Venkatesh explained beautifully about Shami. I think the other thing I liked about him is the seam. Of course, we talk about his seam position and all that. I think it's the use of the crease. I think which is very, very important from a bowler's point of view. Because when you do that, the angle changes and the line changes. And the other thing is the length. If you see the last game, he picked a 5 wicket, but he was always bowling up to the batter. You can only get movement off the wicket or in the air if you pitch the ball up. That means you release the ball rather than banging it down. Because this is a difference between Mohammad Shami and other bowlers. Bumrah is doing the same thing. The length is absolutely perfect. And you have to play, and they bowl stump to stump or close to off stump, whether it's a right hander or left hander. So I think it's not that you can't play him, but I think you cannot slog him. Because he is so straight and he's doing a little bit in and a little bit out. So you have to hit him straight or you have to play it straight as much as possible. That's the only way I think you can play him. He's bowling wonderfully well and he's a master of his own destiny. I think I'm very happy for him. He proved a lot of people wrong that why he was out of the team.
Yes.
I think you have to go on the field and just perform and show that you're the best.
Absolutely. Graham Swan is with us. Graham, a little bit of issues today, but good to have you finally. England is out of the World Cup, but we don't want you out of our panel just yet.
Yes, I was thinking that. I thought maybe I'd been kicked off as well. Yeah, sad day for England yesterday, not managing to beat the Aussies. I'd already resigned myself to the fact we were out of the World Cup, but losing to them as well. But that's gone now, and now I'm a firm India fan, and so I have my Indian shirt on underneath this, and I'll be cheering all the way today. They must beat South Africa.
You know, we've been discussing just how beautiful Shami has been, especially his journey in this World Cup. You know, not really playing the first 4 matches and then coming in and actually wowing the entire world. He's the highest World Cup wicket taker for India now, and he's done it in almost less than half the matches that his predecessors did. In the last, look at his progression in the World Cups. 2015, that also goes on to show his longevity. 2015, 17 wickets. 2019, 14 wickets. 2023 already. You know, he has still a few more matches to go, 14 wickets. Spectacular stuff from him.
Absolutely. And sometimes as a bowler, you can bowl really well, but just not pick up the wickets. So you know that when the wickets do come, you never take them for granted. And 14 in 3 games. I mean, back in 2019, 14 in just 4 games as well. So, I mean, he's an absolute World Cup legend. You have to say that now. And he's certainly the bowler of the tournament so far. And to think that, he didn't play in every game. It was one of the backups for you guys. He's come in and he's the best bowler in the World Cup. So not only have you got all the bases covered on the field, but also on the bench as well. So I envy you immensely right now.
Any thoughts about the discussion around the ball that Indian bowlers have been using? There's been a lot of discussion going on. Surely Shami is using a special ball, isn't it?
Well, I don't know about that, but he presents the ball so perfectly every time. That if it's going to do anything, he's the one who'll get it to do something. So, the fact that every single ball is on a line, on a length from ball one, and that seam is so incredible. We all know that. It just gives it every chance to do something. And in this World Cup and in the last one, it's absolutely done something. So, I will always give credit to the bowlers. I'll never say you get lucky sometimes. He has not got lucky. He's deserved every single one of his wickets. And it's been a joy to watch.
No, absolutely. His personal progression has also been quite interesting because, he has gone through tough periods in his life, Ayaz, and has bounced back. He's also credited a lot of people, including former players and, those part of the support staff in helping him through those periods. But, it has to take something really special to even overshadow somebody like Jasprit Bumrah, which Shami has actually managed to do.
Yeah, I think sorry.
Ayaz, go ahead.
Sorry,
Graham, I'll come back to you.
on.
Yeah.
No, I think he's a very deep guy. He's very resilient. It's obviously lit a fire in his belly. This just being kept out of the team. Remember in 2019 also he had to sit out. I think that time Bhuvneshwar Kumar was preferred over him, and when he came back, he had a hat trick against Afghanistan. When you look at the record now, he's picked up a bagful even in 2019. But I think by far, this has been his most impressive World Cup. 3 matches, 14 wickets, 2 fifers. And the manner in which he's been getting those wickets and on Indian pitches. 2015 was Australia, 2019 was England, where you would expect fast bowlers to get a little more purchase from the conditions here. And then he's, in a sense, matching Jasprit Bumrah blow for blow. Who's doing better? Let's see. Of course, Bumrah's played more matches, but look at the combination you've got. I think that's really the hallmark of this team. You've got Bumrah, you've got Shami, you've got Siraj, and together, 3 of them, I think they're sending shivers down every opponent's, spine.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is why I was trying to ask Jimmy Paji if there's anything that, a batsman can do a little bit better to see off somebody like Bumrah and Shami, and of course,
and he comes one change. It's
yeah, exactly. He's not even
strike at the batter.
I was going to just ask. I've been having this discussion with people I'm watching the matches with, and a lot of us are saying, why doesn't he open the bowling?
Look, you understand why Siraj and Bumrah have been doing, and also people forget that when Bumrah has missed a lot of games, just like Hardik Pandya. Who was doing the heavy lifting for you? It was Mohammad Shami and Mohammad Siraj. These guys have been the ones who've been shoring up the mantle of being fast bowlers for India for a very long time, and that's one of the reasons why everybody was surprised that Shami was left out. But again, as Jimmy Pa said, the best way to answer is, and very quietly, and you get to a stage in life where you don't have to blow over rooftops to say that I was dropped. You get the ball in your hand or you get the bat in your hand and you perform, and that's exactly what he's done. And for me, the most important thing and the most amazing thing is Siraj and Shami have first strike at the batter from each end. Shami comes in one change and he's picked up more wickets than them.
Exactly. Exactly. That just goes on to show just how beautifully well he's doing and possibly overshadowing his, his teammates. But Venki, we looked at that chart. You've got Zaheer Khan, Javikul Srinath, Anil Kumble and more in that list of World Cup, highest World Cup wicket-taking bowlers for us. But would you say that this is indeed the best time India has had as far as a pace bowling unit is concerned?
Oh yes, definitely. We always miss the third quick actually. From last year, about 20-25 years or so. We had 2 fast bowlers, fantastic fast bowlers, but then the third pacer, when it was time for a third pacer to come in, I think that's where either they were leaking runs or not able to, give those breakthroughs. But this combination of Bumrah, Siraj and Shami, I think they've been working wonders for Team India. They're working together, complementing one another extremely well. If there's runs going from one side, if someone is leaking run, the other one is applying a lot of pressure, being extremely economical, and the third bowler comes and gives you the breakthrough. I think that's what is happening with this, three bowlers. But the area of concern, as we're celebrating the bowling attack, the quicks from Indian team. The area of concern is we are just going in with the 5 bowlers. That's about it. 5 bowlers, and none of the batter can roll their arm. They, like a Markram who does for South Africa, or a Glenn Phillips who does for New Zealand, a Joe Root who does for England, or a Maxwell who does it for Australia, and so on, right? So if one of them or a couple of the bowlers have an off day or a bad day in the office, then that is where it will be tested in terms of the character of Indian team, how they're going to go about.
They're going to bring on Virat Kohli in that situation, no?
They don't have an option. We don't know. That's what the Murali Karthik was talking about. Hardik Pandya bringing in stability to the Indian team.
Well, I think even Rahul Dravid has mentioned, jokingly of course, that they've got somebody like a backup bowler in Virat Kohli to bowl a few overs if, heavens forbid something was to go wrong with the Indian bowling lineup.
Look, Hardik is going to be missed. And as I said, we were talking about 5 strong bowlers or 5 proper bowlers, and Hardik will chip in if the need be. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not the case. And you ask anybody, they have to put a brave front. They cannot say, oh, of course they are missing Hardik Pandya. Anybody is going to miss Hardik Pandya or people of his ilk. But the thing is that you've got 5 bowlers. They've done exceptionally well. You look at their numbers in the World Cup, their economy rates. It's not just the economy rates. They're getting wickets. Ravindra Jadeja gets thrown the ball. Even he gets the last wicket. So they get wickets, and that's what they've done. And that's one of the reasons why I feel, I don't know what they've done to curate with the pitch, but I'm pretty sure that going into this game, those 20 overs, because all these South African batters are better players of spin now. You look at the way Ariza Hendricks plays. Even Ariza Hendricks was not a known name or a household name. Quinton de Kock is a much improved player of spin. Heinrich Klaasen has been India's nemesis for a long time. Every time he comes to India, he gets runs against us. And he plays different parts of the ground. He can hit you downtown. He's so quick to latch onto the back foot. So our spinners have it up against them today. So for me, this is going to be a key factor. As Venki said, 5 bowlers, 2 spinners. How do they go?
Yeah. If something goes wrong, what is the plan B is the question for India. Having said that, so far, regardless of the situation that they've met with, India hasn't faltered. Now, these two are the top teams in the table right now. They're not really playing for survival. They're playing only to really test themselves out against another strong team and for bragging rights, because whoever wins is likely to end at the top of the table, while both teams have 2 matches left, including this one. But I'll ask our guests to just hang on with us. So we're waiting, of course, for the toss updates to come from Kolkata, from the Eden Gardens. As we slip into a very short break, also listen in to Indian External Affairs Minister Jai Shankar, who he thinks is going to lift the World Cup trophy.
You know, after very careful consideration based on form, I think it will be India.
Okay.
And that's completely objective.
Dr. Jaishankar.
And I know I'm looking at the Australian High Commissioner and the British High Commissioner here.
Hello. Most of them, I think, still are unaware of the fact that how they are breathing in this toxic air, which is actually slowly killing them or slowly making them sick. Because one thing I can tell you is that if you stand here continuously for more than 1 hour, you will start to feel that problem in breathing, and also the pinch in the eye you can feel just in about 10 minutes. Because now what is happening is that the AQI has breached almost hazardous level in each and every pocket of the national capital, and in fact meetings have been taking place in the national capital regarding this situation. But as of now, the air quality continues to deteriorate, and in fact this was very much told by the officials here in the national capital. And in fact scientists had already predicted that this situation would worsen further because of the prevailing weather conditions. Now the temperature is continuously dipping day by day, and in fact with dipping temperature, what is also happening is that the wind speed is also taking a hit, and that is why the pollutants are not able to find an escape route when it's come to the air quality. Also, you talked about the letter which has been written to the Union Environment Minister by Delhi's Environment Minister Gopal Rai. In fact, in that also, he has urged that now a meeting should be convened of all the 5 states, including Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan, regarding this situation in the national capital. One thing to also remember is that now Supreme Court had earlier asked these 5 states to file an affidavit in front of the Apex Court, talking about what measures they are taking to combat this situation. That very deadline is also inching closer, because every year we talk about problems which are being faced by the Delhiites owing to this very pollution. But as of now, in these many years, in fact it's been almost a decade since Delhi is gasping for fresh air in these months, and as of now no substantial solution has been given. Well, it's a Sunday morning and also a very hazy morning here in the national capital, and this is all because of the pollutants which have engulfed this area of Delhi and NCR region. Well, I'm coming to you from the Vijay Chowk area. Behind me is Rashtrapati Bhavan and the north and the south blocks. But you can see how bad the situation has turned here in the national capital, that visibility has taken such a hit that these very buildings are not even visible from a distance of barely 100 meters now. In fact, it's a Sunday morning and this area is a very touristy one where a lot of tourists pays a visit. But I can tell you that relatively this place is quieter, and not many people are actually venturing out because of this pollution. On usual days, this place is buzzing with tourists, and especially on a Sunday morning and afternoon, a lot of people come here to take pictures and to actually pay a visit to this very site. But owing to this situation, a lot of people have actually thought of skipping this because air pollution is only rising here in the national capital. In most of the areas now, the air quality stands in the hazardous level. Now in the latest, what the Delhi government has decided to shut the schools for the primary schools till 10th of November, and they have also given an option to the classes from 6 to the senior classes to actually continue classes in an online mode. So as of now, different steps are being taken by the government to actually take stock of the situation and to probably provide a solution to this situation. Because pediatrics and in fact health experts have already maintained that children are most vulnerable to this entire situation. I'll once again give you a glimpse of this place. This on this side of this road is Kartavya Path, and you can see there is almost nil visibility of India Gate from this very place, and this is all because of this thick layer of smog which has engulfed this entire area. Well, you go to any place in the national capital, these are the visuals you're going to witness, because most of these areas are actually reporting numbers in very severe to hazardous category. Well, this Sunday morning it is turned to be a toxic one for the people of the national capital, and in fact in the coming days also we don't expect much respite owing to the weather conditions. This is Yash Goel with video journalist N. Satish for CNN News 18. Right now I am coming to you from Anand Vihar area, which every year remains
Thanks a lot for staying with us. We're just waiting for the toss updates to come in from the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. India taking on South Africa, the top two teams off the table. And of the event, really, they've been the ones, the teams to beat. India, of course, has continued to be unbeaten, the only team to manage that. They've won 7 out of their 7, and have won 7 out of their 7 pretty comprehensively. South Africa had that one wobble, but after that have looked pretty destructive, really. And they are continuing in that vein of form. Exactly which team weighs in a little bit heavier today, it remains to be seen. But this is not a contest for the teams to, clinch their survival or their progression. This is purely for bragging rights and for that all-important top spot, because the top team plays the 4th place. Well, we've got the toss update coming in. India have won the toss. It's another good toss to win, and they have elected to bat first. So, Graham, they've ensured that they don't really have to face a 300 or a 350 plus score, because every time South Africa bats first, they score a really big one.
I think that's a good move as well. Sometimes it's better to do what the opposition don't want. And to bat first, this Indian team is a very strong side chasing. We know that. They didn't set too well against England, but it turned out to be a very good total on that pitch. So I think it's good. You seize the initiative, and on a small ground like Eden Gardens, it could be India posting their 350, 400 score that we've seen. So well done, India. Good start to the day.
Well, it has become much, much easier to post those totals, is it? Or is this World Cup, maybe just making us feel like that? Because you look at New Zealand last evening, 400 and still lost. We'll get to that in just a bit. But, these totals of 350, 370, 380, even 400s are becoming more regular.
Yeah, the game has changed immensely over the last decade. I think mainly because of the T20, the IPL, especially in India, showed teams what it's capable of doing over 20 overs. And these players who've been raised doing that, scoring 200, 220, 230 in 20 over games, have looked at the longer format and thought, well, why can't we just extend that? And, totals that 10 years ago, 12 years ago would be completely out of your range. 350 was unchaseable. And the teams are now knocking them off. So, it's a very good move. It's a brilliant ground to set a total, I think, Eden Gardens, because the wicket will turn a bit later on. South Africa are strong against the spinners, as I already said earlier. So it could be the ideal thing. Get that big total on the board, and it works as an extra bowl of that scoreboard pressure.
Just to add to that, also what has happened in the last decade is with the advent of 2 balls and that one fielder less for 40 overs, for 30 overs, I think batters are finding it easy. To add to what the mindset which Graham was talking about, imagine having a newish ball, whereas in other times you had a ball which actually looked so green, and against the likes of Saklen or Muthaiya Muralidharan or Vaughan or Swanee, that's not easy for a batter. Now you got one less fielder for the bowlers to contend with. Never easy, never easy. So that's one of the reasons why you are having so many 300 and even 400 plus scores consistently.
Yeah, and almost 400 getting chased as well, as New Zealand showed us the other day. But Jimmy Paji, what is a good total, you think, between these two sides?
Shivani, I think it depends on the nature of the wicket, to be very honest. And sometimes if it's on a slower side and it's turning and the ball is not coming onto the bat, we have seen that even 270, 280 is difficult to chase.
Yes.
So it all depends how well they start and all that. I think I'll go back to Shami again. I think you're discussing about his how well he's bowling. He's bowling brilliantly, no doubt about it. But the batting side needs to do something different over here to tackle him. I would personally feel that I think they need to stand outside the trees or maybe walk down the trees to upset his rhythm, upset his length. That's the only way I think you can tackle Shami at the moment. He's a brilliant bowler and all that thing. And just to see from which angle he's bowling from the crease. I think that you can work out whether he's going to bowl more in swinger, off cutters or leg cutters and all that, or ball would leave the bat. But I think idea is to have runs on the board and just test the opposition and just restrict them to a lower total. But I think spinners will still play an important part in this particular game.
India have gone in, of course, with an unchanged side. Venki, you were interested in watching out what Rohit Sharma chooses to do if he was to win the toss today. And it looks like they do want to test themselves out. It's not just so much about not giving South Africa's batting lineup the opportunity to score big, as they have been doing batting first, but it's also to test themselves, isn't it? Because the only other time they batted first, it wasn't a very good knock for them.
Well, Shivani, is not just about that. It's also about negotiating the heat and humidity that Kolkata offers. And if you have to field there for 50 overs in that hot and humid conditions, then again come back and chase even a score of say about 280, it's not going to be easy at all. And if you by doing so, by chasing, if you lose a couple of quick wickets in the first 10 overs, then the pressure is even more. So more the reason, I guess it's more about heat and humidity of Kolkata, whether what made Rohit Sharma choose to bat first. Yes, there might be some dew factor. They don't mind dealing with the dew factor later on, which they have done at Lucknow as well, bowling against England, defending a very small total. And also Shami's inputs, having Eden has been his backyard, right? He knows what happens in the evening. There is going to be a bit of a breeze coming in, and definitely a bit of movement, which they would like to take advantage of. And talking about the venue, look, it's a lightning quick outfield. If you beat the fielder, it's going to be a boundary for sure. It's not a big ground like an Ahmedabad, so there's going to be a lot of runs scored. So the first 10 overs, as far as India is concerned, the first 10 overs matters, because I would still feel that there is going to be some bit of tackiness on the pitch. So it's not going to be easy to bat. Like what happened in Mumbai at Wankhede against Sri Lanka. It is not easy to bat. And if you bowl, if the South African bowlers, if they bowl in those right areas, it's not going to be easy to bat those first 5 to 8 overs. I think that's where I feel Indian batters have to negotiate that to begin with.
Yes, the Indian batting lineup, of course, has been doing extremely well, but maybe this would be a great opportunity for the likes of Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, who've been getting their starts, but not really converting them into big ones. Maybe the 49th record-equaling ODI ton is also becoming a bit of a monkey on Virat Kohli's back, because he's looked good to get to that record-equaling ton almost 3 times and hasn't really got to it. But we'll leave that for another day. I do want our experts to talk a little bit about what we are likely to see as far as the contest for the other 2 semi-final spots is concerned. And I ask, it is looking so interesting, isn't it? First of all, a word about Pakistan managing to beat New Zealand after the latter scored 400 on Duckworth Lewis. All credit to Fakhar Zaman, but I think this is a daylight robbery.
Yeah, I mean, like Rip Van Winkle, they woke up after years and years and years. You know, it suddenly came to life. But I thought, you know, look, it just kind of inspires the team to, you know, whatever the opportunity there is, that one man comes in and shakes things up so comprehensively. This kind of knock that we've seen, and all the left-handers seem to be in great form in this tournament. We've seen Quinton de Kock, yesterday we saw Rachin Ravindra, and then of course Fakhar Zaman, David Warner, Travis Head. It seems to be helping the left-handers. I'm just, you know, top of the mind observation, but I think the middle rung, the middle cluster has become very, very interesting. I'm still hoping that Afghanistan can somehow remain in contention till the end.
So Afghanistan have the toughest, the toughest equation. They've got South Africa and Australia in the last 2 matches. If they were to do it, then it would be the biggest story of the World Cup.
I already think it's a memorable story for them having come this far. And, you know, they'll look back with some regret at not having beaten Bangladesh.
Yes.
That seemed like a match. Now, in hindsight, it looked like an easy win it could have been for them, because Bangladesh have just been, you know, just dissipated as a team. And it's just not been there. But having said that, I think Australia, in my opinion, it's South Africa, Australia are there, and India, of course. And now it's a fight for the 4th team. New Zealand better watch it. They've just got stalled. You know, I mean, after running away to 4 wins, they got stalled. Pakistan woken up a little late, but net run rate could be the influential, big influence over there, the influencing factor.
You know, Graham, I'm very interested to know from you what you make of the Australia equation. They're obviously sitting alone at 3rd with 10 points. They've got 2 more matches to go, and they would love the equation for them. They've got Afghanistan and Bangladesh, with no disrespect to either of these teams, but just the form that Australia is showing. But if Afghanistan was to beat Australia, was to beat South Africa, Afghanistan gets on 12 points. Maybe Australia gets stuck on 10. I don't know. Stranger things have happened. What do you make of it? Are you of the opinion that Australia is a cinch or no?
My former England teammate Jonathan Trott is the coach of Afghanistan, so I am a firm Afghanistan fan, especially when they play against Australia.
Yes.
And I think it really has been a great story in this World Cup. And yeah, as we said, looking back now, that Bangladesh loss, they'll be pulling their hair out. They could be right up there pushing for that semi-final spot, but it would be a brilliant story. I'm all for it. I think it's fantastic, their meteoric rise recently, all down to the bowlers mainly. They've got a wonderful bowling attack. And I think they've got a red-hot chance, even though it's a tough couple of fixtures. Australia, they don't play spin very well. And Afghani spinners are up there with the best in the world. So I'm desperately praying for a result for the Afghans in that one.
Exactly. You are praying for one. Now look at New Zealand. Let's not forget about them, because New Zealand is very much in contention. They're on 8 points with Pakistan and Afghanistan. They've only got 1 match to go versus Sri Lanka. Pakistan has 1 match to go against England. And Graham, we're hoping that while England is only playing for pride, maybe sometimes when you have nothing to play for yourself, you at least like to ruin the party for somebody else.
Well, yeah, I know the whole of India would like that. But, England are down and out. Maybe that's the monkey off their back and they can go and play freely, because they were so timid in their approach in the last game. But Pakistan is so dangerous. They're so mercurial. They can be absolute rubbish 1 minute and then red hot the next. And they've just hit that red hot streak with a bat. I mean, you say daylight robbery chasing 400, but they only lost 1 wicket. So, maybe they'd have cruised home anyway. So,
maybe.
I used to love playing against Pakistan, because you never know what's coming on any given day. You can finish the game by lunchtime sometimes, bowl them out for 50, or they get 450 and bowl you out for 10. So they're a very unusual team in that respect. And they're very, very dangerous once they get going.
Yeah.
And Swani,
Karthik had something to say about the English team.
Swani, I know on a lighter note, I think we are thinking of making a CNN Network 18 team led by Jimmy Pa. You're going to be the vice captain, and I think we can beat England.
With only 6 of us, I think we'd be.
No.
I know. I don't think there'll be a ticker tape parade at Heathrow Airport when they land, put it that way.
All right, we've run out of time, unfortunately, but it's always a pleasure to be talking to all of you gentlemen. We look forward to having them again during the mid-innings. So join us back here on CNN News 18. And as promised, here's a special conversation with none other than David Miller. Enjoy that. We'll be back towards the mid-innings.
first things first, David, it has been a very successful campaign for you guys. So I'll quickly ask you, what difference have you felt from the previous campaigns where South Africa have played? What's the real difference this Proteas side is kind of showcasing on the field?
I think every World Cup has a different kind of feel to the players and the squad, but this particular World Cup we've been really clinical in our performances, but the guys have been really hungry for success. Example, Quinny de Kock has batted really well, but he's been hungry for more hundreds, and he's got 400s already. The bowlers, Keshav Maharaj has been super consistent. Marco Jansen up front, getting the wickets up front. So I think that the hunger to do well and play for each other has definitely been a standout for me.
2015 was another memorable campaign. It kind of didn't go all the way, but it was another team which kind of showed they had what it takes to win the title. But this time around, I think you guys have probably the most destructive middle order, and the way you have been batting first, batting second. So do you reckon that kind of is the big difference from other sides, the way you bat in the middle overs?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's hard to say because every team has a really good team and world-class players. But, just what we have kind of produced so far has been really good to see from the top 6. I would say the top 7, because Jansen is batting at 7 and he's batting phenomenally well. So, the guys have just kind of enjoyed each other's success and batted around, taken confidence from Quinton de Kock, Temba, Reza, and Rassi up front, those four guys, and then Markram, Klaasen and myself. It makes it a lot easier for us to kind of come in, and once the foundation is done really well. So I think the guys are in a really good space, and it is a destructive order, but we're experienced now. We've been playing for a long time together, which makes a big difference. We know what makes each other tick. And getting experience individually from everyone around the world with all the leagues. Everyone has played around the world in certain leagues, so the experience is definitely there.
Just talking about the confidence you're drawing from someone like a de Kock, just one hiccup in the World Cup so far. So how much does this game mean in the context of your campaign? How much of confidence would you draw from doing well against India right before the knockouts begin?
Yeah, look, I think we've done really well so far. Obviously, winning 6 from 7, we've put ourselves in a great position to we just need to, I think, win one more to completely qualify. But this game is a really big game for us. As I mentioned, we're taking one game at a time, and we're not worrying about the future. And this becomes the most important game of our lives.
Facing India table toppers, they haven't dropped a game in the tournament yet. Your captain is injured now, the IPL captain, but still, what kind of game are they looking, forward to? What kind of game are they playing, and how much does that inspire teams like the South Africa too? The way they have been playing, the way the bowlers are performing. So, what's a word or two on the way they have been playing in the tournament?
Yeah, they've been playing phenomenal cricket, as I mentioned. I mean, they're top of the table, 7 from 7, I think it is. And it is inspiring. This game of cricket is a funny game, so you kind of just got to stay on it all the way through. We've mentioned we've played really good cricket, but at the end of the day, all that is irrelevant right now. The next game is India tomorrow, so it's great to see them doing really well, and we're really excited about the game. I think it's going to be a great game to watch. And obviously to play and be a part of. So I think the guys are up for it and really excited.
Lastly, looking forward to facing your GT teammate Mohammad Shami, who was 3 games, 14 wickets. You have seen that from close quarters in the net, so how excited are you to take him on tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's that's the joys of playing international cricket. You play against the best players in the world. You get challenged against the best batters and best bowlers in the world. So it's always a good competition, playing against your teammates from the RPL. He's definitely a seriously good bowler, but tomorrow's a new game, so we're going to do what we need to do.
Thank you for joining us, David. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
The cricket fever is on in Kolkata, and right now I'm standing outside Eden Gardens. The most interesting thing in India-South Africa match, apart from the match, is obviously the birthday of Virat Kohli. Yesterday night he got a golden bat. The cake cutting ceremony took place. The boy has got a new haircut. How he's going to play, that definitely everybody is going to see. But you can see here outside Eden Gardens, people are all Virat. Cup, you can see that all the jerseys with Virat written in the bag that's there. We would really like to talk to the people to know that, you know, what is your expectation? What is your expectation that Virat will perform well? And do you want to wish Virat a happy birthday?
I really want to wish Virat a very happy 35th birthday, and I want him to continue the form he's having. I really expect the 4900, but even if he scores a valuable contribution, I'm happy with that.
So how is the Josh? You want to wish Virat?
Yes, a very happy birthday to him.
So how is the Josh for you all? आप लोग कैसे करेगा विराट, कैसे खेलेगा और क्या लग रहा है कि कौन जीतेगा वर्ल्ड कप?
इंडिया जीतेगा भाई, जीतेगा इंडिया, जीतेगा जीतेगा भाई, जीतेगा इंडिया, जीतेगा.
And what is your gift to Virat today?
So they have arranged some masks over there inside, so everyone will get a mask, and there's a huge cake which is being cut for the Virat when there is a break between two innings, and then there'll be a special laser show today in Eden Gardens only for Virat. We wish you a very happy birthday, Virat Kohli. Happy 35th birthday. We look forward for a century from you as a special gift to yourself from our Eden Gardens.
So that's what the Eden crowd is always different, and the Eden Garden crowd is everybody, all the cricketers wants to have this fever of Eden Garden, where you can see all the Virat jersey, where all the supporters, they are wearing Virat jersey and they want that their gift and also Virat's gift to Eden Garden today is a century by Virat Kohli, and also this time they hope that India will get the World Cup.